I'm Linda Holbeche. I'm delighted to be here speaking at the Global People Festival. My background is that I'm an independent researcher and writer, but I also teach at various universities, and I have a background in learning and development and management development and HR going back quite a while. So at the festival today, I've been talking initially at the group or with the group about employee engagement. And specifically it's about employee engagement, how you maintain it if you've got it when things are changing a lot, which of course in many organisations is now the norm. And is there a casualty of change that upsets engagement? Yes, there is, and that's trust. So we've been unpacking, if you like, in discussions in and around that. How do leaders, managers and others impact on trust and engagement? And one of the themes that I found very interesting coming out in the discussion has been the vital impact of toxic leadership, how it can totally undermine both engagement and performance, because people are usually terrified or their performance is reduced when they don't trust the leadership and they don't believe what they're being told. From a global mobility perspective, remote working is one of the big issues, and it's growing, of course, with technology enabling all sorts of variations on remote working. So it's much more likely than it was even 5 years ago that you'll be working with people based in all sorts of corners of the world. The challenge is, of course, how to build a team, how, if you're managing people working not only as employees, but in some cases contractors or as part of your supply chain, how do you build a sense of community? How do you help people feel they belong somewhere, which is a really vital element of engagement, when they feel they never see their manager, or where they may find that they've got rules imposed on when and where they must be at their computer, and they get lots of messages that they're not really trusted to be working properly when they're not visible. So we've talked about some of the possible ways in which management and HR in particular can try and build trust across those boundaries, even if there's an investment required, some face-to-face work required to build team working, such that you can then build on that by remote communications that work for everybody. So if organisations don't take these issues seriously and don't pay attention to engagement, particularly around the remote working scene, then they lose out eventually, because they'll get a reputation for being a rotten organisation to work for. So why would you go and work for an organisation that doesn't care about you, that treats you as dispensable? So I think there is a risk for organisations that neglect engagement or don't understand its importance, that they're not getting the performance they might be out of people, because people are keeping their best stuff to themselves, especially new ideas, which of course in today's world, when everybody is aspiring to be agile, is what organisations need to survive and thrive. Well, I think one of the special things about this Festival of Global People is the fact it brings together people involved in this global mobility world who've got all sorts of different backgrounds and contributions to make, and it's really magic to see people sparking off each other, coming up with ideas, sharing their experiences and their challenges. And in a sense, it allows people to take stock of what the growing trends are. So people attending this festival, last year and this year, are able to take ideas away that they can put into practice, and also they get the heads up on where things might be going so that they can be preparing their organisation for it. So in a sense, it does put people at an advantage to, in a sense, model what we're talking about, the sort of collaborative working, building relationships of trust and collaboration from virtually nowhere to somewhere that's highly productive. Well, I think what's unique about the Festival of Global People is that it's the only place I've been which focuses intensely on some of the issues that are going to affect all organisations in due course. Things like, how do you upskill and reskill people for the world as it's becoming? How do you help people come to terms with new types of roles, especially with technology moving on as it is? And how do you keep the human in organisations? And so some of the sessions at the festival this year have been absolutely spot on. Well, all of them have been spot on, but some in particular I think are very practical examples, like the coaching sessions, the focus is on leadership, of how to prepare people in their organisations for this need for adopting new behaviours, new skills, new capabilities, and some clues about how to go about it. I think one of the key themes in the discussions, clearly over the 2 days, but certainly this morning, have been how do we keep the human in organisations and actually make it even more important than it has been perhaps in the last few years, in an era where technology will gradually replace many jobs or downgrade them, hollow them out. Because I am absolutely convinced that the value add of human beings is in the kind of human skills, the empathy, the emotional awareness, the ability to really understand where customers are coming from, and then use technology to devise the right solutions. It's not humans or technology, it's humans able to work their human magic alongside using technology to do a lot of the grunt work for them. And beyond that, to use technology skillfully to supplement what humans themselves would struggle to do, but where the role that humans play is all the more important. I'm thinking of things like medicine, where artificial intelligence already plays such a key role in diagnosis and in some cases operations, but humans, as in the skilled surgeon and their judgment, is also vitally important still, and their ability to work with their patients. So I hope the takeaway or one of the many takeaways from this conference is the renewed vigour that the participants will have on what they can do practically to put the human back into their organisations.